Hey guys, what's up? Amir Reiter here with the Transform Sales Podcast, a episode on Transform Life, where we talk about the life-changing events that sales has done to individuals' lives. And I got my guest, JP Cardona. I have the privilege of knowing JP because JP was a SDR and then an actual sales manager at CloudTask before he went on to extend his career to own his own sales agency, Abroad Solutions. JP, what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing great, Amir. Thanks for having me here.
Before we jump into it, it'd be awesome for you to tell people, who you are, maybe a cool fact about you that people wouldn't know.
Okay, well, I'm JP Cardona, born and raised in Colombia, 30 years old. A curious fact about me, even though I love motorcycles and high speeds, I'm afraid to heights.
Yeah, JP's an adrenaline junkie who's afraid of heights. So
Exactly.
anybody who's scared of heights, you could still motorcycle.
Yep.
So talk to me. Anybody listening, here the idea is just for people who are in sales and maybe stuck in a rut or not sure if getting into sales is right for them, to just kind of really know the
Okay.
true stories about people's career paths and how sales has impacted them. Maybe you could tell people clearly just how did you get into sales in the first place? What was your journey getting into sales?
Well, I got into sales, I think, by accident. Even though it runs in my veins, my mom has always been in sales, my dad as well. Um, but I never thought of myself doing sales. But because of life and the need at the moment, I needed to look for a job, and I got started in sales. Turns out I loved it. I was very good at it, and that's how I got into sales. And now I can see myself doing something different.
So it was an accident. You just fell into it. You hit the
Yeah,
apply button, and
I was
then
lucky, yeah, because I fell into something that I didn't know
what was
about.
your first sales job?
It was with patients in the US where I had to sell them braces and health products.
So you're doing medical sales, first job. Were you cold calling? Were you following up with leads?
No, it was cold calling. It was cold calling mostly elderly people to offer them some solutions for their pain. But it was almost all my life I've been cold calling.
Yeah, and you're 30 now. You're a 30-year-old business owner. I think you're probably a business owner by 29. How old were you when you got your first sales job?
17, 18.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh wow. So you started young, and then you got your opportunity to run your own company at what age? 29?
28. So it was
28. That's awesome. Talk to me about in general, like how has sales changed your life, right? I think we specifically in our community help a lot of people that are maybe working for call centers or they're kind of in a rut where they potentially get jobs they don't like, they don't really move up the ladder, the cycle starts over and over again, and they end up being 40 years old without
Yep.
really advancing out of an entry level job. Maybe you could tell people listening, how has sales transformed your life? Like, what kind of impact has it had on your life?
Wow. Well, I'd say the biggest impact it's had on my life is that I'm responsible for my own income. I decide how much I want to make. There's always something to sell, and you can always make more money if you know how to sell. Also, personally, frustration is something that you have to learn and you have to master when you're in sales because you're going to get a lot of no's, and you have to be able to deal with frustration and keep going, be resilient, and have a thick skin. So I think those are the most
So
important
sales
things.
has like impacted your life just as far as showing you that if you take control of your professional career, earnings are unlimited. So
Exactly.
it's given you a business mindset.
Freedom. hmm and freedom. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It gives me the that mindset, and that's what also brought me to start my own company. I see like what there's no limit here. I can keep selling this more and more and more, keep making more money.
It's amazing. So I think a lot of people listening to this should know that like a lot of leaders, a lot of CEOs, they started their career in sales as well, right? So I think it's a common career path where sales kind of sets you free. You also mentioned that it impacted your personal life in the sense that you learned how to deal with things that come up in your personal life with a little bit more patience.
Agreed. Yeah, and you have to learn frustration, to be patient, um, and also you have to be very good at separating your personal life from your work life. When you come into the office, my personal stuff gets out there. The only way I can work on the stuff happening outside the office is if I have more money, and if I work harder, I can have the means to solve anything else that's happening out there. So you also need to be able to separate those two things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Um, what's your best advice for somebody that's considering getting into sales?
Well, you need to know what you're getting into. Sales is not for everyone, but for those who pick this path, is it's very good. You can have a lot of success. This sales is for people that feel passionate about it. If you're ambitious, if you want to get more than just a base salary, sales is for you. So think about what you want in life, what you want to get, and if you're someone, like I said, ambitious, that has very very big dreams, the best way to achieve those is through sales.
So let's just recap. Basically, you're saying sales is for winners.
Exactly. You have to be a
So,
winner.
so it's not for everybody, right? It's for people who are ambition and passionate. Do you think that a lot of people want to describe that? Would you think that people would want to describe themselves as being ambition and passionate? Is that something that people aspire to be?
Passionate, yeah. Ambition, like that word can have a negative connotation for some, but uh,
Socialists?
people people like us that are successful in sales, we're not afraid of saying that we're ambitious, because we are ambitious, and being ambitious is not something bad. And I'm ambitious, and I make a lot of money, but I also help a lot of people with my ambition.
Well, help me understand this, right? Because I think sales has like a negative connotation, so people don't like it, but yet you describe it as something that would define an ambitious, passionate person. I would think that anybody would want to be passionate and ambitious, right? But you're saying is that there are people out there that don't aspire to be either ambition or passionate.
Not that they don't aspire to be, but they just don't care about it. Like there's
They don't
people
have
that
it.
just settle.
Well, if you don't, if you
Yeah,
don't, if you don't, yeah. So they're not that, right?
like you can just settle with making a minimum wage and have a work that helps you pay your bills, and that's it. And
So
there's
let's
people
let's
that don't
let's
aspire to more.
let's define, because you describe who salespeople are, who our salespeople are not, right? Like it is it just the adverse? Like if you're not ambitious and you're not passionate, sales is not for you, or is it like if you're
I
what
mean,
like
you
what
don't have
like
to be
what?
passionate about sales. You can be passionate only about what you're selling, but you definitely have to be persistent and ambitious. Yeah,
Who
because if
would you
not,
advise? Who would you advise not to get into sales? Right? Like, would you like? Who would you be like? You like look at the person and you're like, hey, like I just need to be honest. I don't think sales is for you. What does that person look like? Because I'm clear that sales. I'm clear that if you look at a guy who's ambition, passionate, you might say sales is for you. But talk to me about the person that who's listening, who needs to look at themselves in the mirror and say, do I want to change? Right? If they want to.
if you're comfortable working 8 to 5 and with a medium salary that is not going to grow a lot, then sales is not for you.
So anybody who's comfortable in the call centers, stay there.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fine.
Like,
That's what this.
look
That's the
for a
point
job
of
in
this.
customer service. Like I said, this is not for everyone. And yeah.
So yeah. So anybody listening, if you're looking for consistent, easy job, never going to get you to the high level, never going to get you homeless, right? Sales is not for you. If you look in the mirror, according to Juan, this is Juan saying this. Don't come at me. If you look at the mirror and you say, "I am an ambitious, passionate person," it might be the time to get into sales.
And look for the right product for you to sell as well. You
Well,
need to
tell me
always
about
believe in your
that.
product.
Tell me about that a little bit more. Why I heard you say that a few times, right? Why is it important for a person getting into sales, working in sales, to believe in the product or sell the right product? Talk to me about that.
I mean, because they that's what they need to transfer to the buyer or to the leads. They need to show them why they believe in the product. If I'm going to buy a new motorcycle, if I like a new motorcycle, I'm able to sell it perfectly because I know the good things about it, how it can help, the problems it can solve, or how fast it can take you, all of that. So if you're passionate, you're gonna do a much better job. You may not be passionate. Like I've sold products that I'm not passionate about. I'll be honest. You just learn the script, you learn the pain points, the objection handling, you learn the basics, and you can do it. But you won't have the same results as if you're passionate. And you
Yeah.
like what you're selling.
That won't set you free. It's kind of like a mango tree that's planted in Canada probably is not going to be the same mango tree planted in Florida, right? I think people listening to this should know that, like, when we talk about sales, it's this big general blanket, right? But if you were selling motorcycles and you love motorcycles, does it really feel like a job when you study Ducatis and Ninjas all day long and that's what you would study for free? Probably not, right? But if you're a motorcycle fan and now you're selling tricycles, you might hate tricycles, might not be a good match. So I think anybody listening, I think Juan brings a really good point that for people that are looking to really have sales impact our life, taking the time to find a product that you could stand by can give you a whole different experience in sales, and that could really change who you are as a person. Because you may take a sales job that is, call it selling things to people they don't need, where every customer's unhappy, and you feel like a scam artist, right? Like the Wolf of Wall Street. Anybody watch that? The guy made $hundreds of millions, but he robbed everyone's life savings, right? And went to jail, right? So I think the big thing that you're saying is that if you get a sales job with the wrong product, you might not get that passionate, ambitious person that can mold, right? And all of a sudden,
you can still do it, but he won't.
But it could set you off, right, in the wrong direction. You might go back to customer support.
And
right?
if you pick the right product, you will also be looking at a long-term career. If you don't like the product, how long are you going to be there, really?
Yeah, I think that has to go with, like, companies that have product market fit tend to help people, right? So it's like if it's faster, cheaper, more efficient, it's going to be easier to sell, right? And if it's not, you're going to be like, this is uncomfortable. I wouldn't buy the product myself, right? So anybody listening, these are really good points because, if you do accept a job in sales that has the wrong product, doesn't have product market fit, you might not like sales, right? And you might get back into something that can keep yourself from really growing into what Juan has been, right? He's a business owner, 28 years old. He employs, how many people do you employ now?
35 people.
He employs 35 people, right? He's helping people get jobs in his country. He's helping companies in the States sell things faster, cheaper, more efficient. And like it's a rewarding thing, right? I think the goal for this podcast is for people to know that they can start in a call center, they can work their way up, and they become agency owners, because that is exactly what Juan did and who he is, right? There are people that are going to be listening to this that they don't know that in their country, whether it's United States or Colombia or Mexico, they don't really believe that they can become business owners, right? I think some people have this mental idea.
That's not what they teach you in school.
It's not what they teach you in school. That's what we teach you at CloudTask on the marketplace.
Yep.
And it's the truth, right? I think I remember when we and Juan started to not work with each other. I think I came to you and I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And it was like, I was like, and I started giving Juan business because we pivoted to a marketplace. Juan's actually in our office. He's got majority of our office. CloudTask has 10 people. Juan has 35. I can't turn the camera here, but Juan took over the office here, which is awesome. So, who's your biggest role model in sales? Is there anybody that you look up to that really inspires you? Like, if you have people listening to this podcast that are like, hey, I never really thought that I could be a 28-year-old business owner with 35 employees. I'm unhappy in my, like, who do you follow for inspiration?
Well, there's a couple of people. One of them, I guess most of the people that listening to this will know, is Josh Brown. So I look up to him. I've learned a lot of things from him, and from you as well. You play a big part on me making this decision and being able to get to this point, because you were never selfish with your knowledge. You always shared it, and so you contributed a lot.
Well, it's an honor, man. When I see people turn into business owners that then help 35 people get jobs and then go on podcasts to help thousands listen, I feel like we're all together in a team. So it motivates me to provide more content, more jobs, and more help. So anybody listening, Josh Brown, you can follow him. maybe you're already following me. If you listen, I'm going to step up the content when it comes to helping people. That's why we call this Transform Life, right? It's under the Transform Sales Podcast umbrella. It's a series highlighting individuals who've just worked their way up the ladder, because these are the untold stories, right? These are the stories that people don't hear, right? People will meet Juan, is the CEO of Abroad Solutions, and they'll make assumptions. He was born into it, right? His family passed it on to him, but it's not true. It's not true. Juan accidentally got a sales job, fell in love with it, right? At 17 years old, he was grinding at Cloud Test for 4 or 5 years. He was a sales manager. It was a road to get to where he got to. However, it is a road that others can follow, right? It is not an impossible road. It is a road of dedication, hard work, and focus. And Juan's got 30, 40 years left in his career. And he just started, but it's the taking the chance, I think, that what got you here, and the consistent focus, and the what we call it, the ambition and passion, right?
Ambition, yeah, not settling. And something else I think it's important to highlight is the impact you can have on others when you're in sales. Right now, I'm giving jobs to lots of people, not only helping companies, but you can help your own people, like the people that you can impact tons of lives. So it's not just about money, but about impacting people's life positively as well.
I agree with you. Juan, this has been awesome. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you, learn more about your story, maybe join your team, maybe hire your company? What's the easiest way to contact you?
Well, our company, Abroad Solutions, you can find it just like that, Abroad Solutions on LinkedIn, or our website, abroad.solutions. Or you can also find me on LinkedIn and send me a message there. I'll be happy to connect, answer any questions, or give any advice if anyone's looking for any advice as well. Okay.
One last question. Why are you wearing the Bogota jacket? Is it cold?
Because you have the AC very, very cold.
You're wrong. You have the AC cold. I have my own AC. But Juan, this has been awesome, man. Everybody, I appreciate you checking in the Transform Sales podcast and the Transform Life episode with Juan. Juan, I will let you go back at it so you can help people and find those passionate, ambitious people. Thank you again for taking the time to be here.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.